Hi there, I'm Mark. This is Rachel.
And Mabel.
And Mabel, who will probably get off, yawn melodramatically and stuff like that because she's bored. We basically wanted to do a quick introductory video to us, how we came to do Horsebox Camper, and we are hopefully going to start putting more stuff up on YouTube. So this might be a bit rambly, this video, because we wanted to get all the questions sort of out of the way in the first instance, really. So basically the whole premise is we got the whole career, mortgage, jobs, no kids, but we had enough trouble with the dog. Had a nice little 2-up, 2-down Victorian cottage. Moved to where we are now, a lovely 3-bed Georgian cottage.
Hindsight says probably stretched ourselves, but
yeah, but you never know. I mean, we were on the treadmill of, get more stuff, get bigger house, get better jobs, stuff like that. So then I think, I can't remember what year it was, but I was made redundant, and our borrowing started going up a bit too much, really, and plus in conjunction with sort of overstretching ourselves with the house, we basically couldn't afford to do anything apart from service a mortgage, pay bills, and all that dull stuff. So our one getaway, I suppose, was going camping, really, and we
had 2 Airedales at the time.
Yeah, 2 Airedales at the time. Please excuse the cars going past. We're parked up in an industrial estate. So we loved camping, as I said. Had a tent we bought a tent. You had to crawl in and out of it to go to the loo in the middle of the night. The dogs thought that was hilarious, but we soon found it wasn't.
So we went and bought a bigger tent.
Yeah, then a bigger tent, and then we ended up with a long wheelbase Land Rover and a trailer, and then we had to get a garage to be able to store all the camping stuff and things like that. And then basically we got a bit of a kick in the teeth in June 2016, and I'll let Rachel take over that bit.
So June 2016, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, with 2 different types of breast cancer all in one. Luckily I had a very, very positive surgeon, and she sort of said that we are going to beat this. But in the process I was going to have chemotherapy, surgery for a mastectomy. I was also going to have radiotherapy, and I'm on hormone therapy for 10 years. So although I knew it wasn't going to kill me at the time, it does make you put life into perspective and think, what are we on this bizarre treadmill for? We also sort of thought, I'm going to be absolutely shattered. Can we actually do the whole camping malarkey? Because we had so much gear, it would take us hours to get it all set up and put away. We decided we were too young to go down the whole motorhome, and also couldn't afford it. So we then took the radical step of actually sort of thinking, let's build our own. I think this was after we saw one up in Wales that we quite liked the look of, and then was sold before we managed to go and get to have a look at it. So we thought we could do it ourselves. So hunted through lots and lots of different types of lorries.
Yeah, we looked at removals lorries,
ex-libraries,
army trucks, the whole lot, really.
So then we settled on a Horsebox. Everybody says don't get a Horsebox because it'll smell of wee. I can categorically tell you, you replace some of the timbers, like the wall behind us and the floor, and it doesn't smell of wee. So long story short, I'm going through treatment. We go along to the bank and borrow some more money and go and build what we just think is a fun holiday sort of wagon. We then hadn't got a clue where we were going to park it and build it, so I put a shout out on Facebook, and a lovely couple sort of close by, Becky and Stephen, allowed us to rebuild the Horsebox, who we've now christened Booby Doo, because the boob made us do it. And also it was going to be our magical mystery machine, so if any of you remember Scooby-Doo. So we bought it in August 2016, a very odd day, going down to Cornwall and people sort of saying, what your horse is like, what have you got? And we're saying, no horses.
Yeah.
We're just going to rip it out and actually build it into a camper van. So I'll hand over back to Mark and can tell you a bit about sort of what we did build-wise and things, and the tools. And we are so envious of anybody who actually manages to build their camper van in a shed, because we weren't.
With power.
We'll put some pickies up.
Yeah, so there we were, Becky and Stephen, and thank you so much for this. It was the nicest thing anyone has ever done for us. Said, we've got a farm, you can come and park up, you can sort of do all your work on it and everything like that. So unfortunately we haven't got any barns or anything like that, but so there we were in their yard. One of the first things we bought was a 900 watt briefcase generator, because we were on a bit of a budget, and then we had to size all of our tools accordingly. So we asked for tools for birthdays and Christmas, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I'll get you a massive great router and stuff. No, we've only got 900 watts to play with, it's going to have to be a micro one and stuff like that. And so everything was pretty much battery tools and things like that. But it's amazing what you can buy second hand on eBay, really. So and we did it over the winter, which was tough going at times, wasn't it, really? We were there in the freezing cold, cutting wood outside, and at one point Rachel had lost all her hair through chemo and stuff like that. So there we were, stripping out this Horsebox, and we actually sold off quite a few of the bits and everything like that to make a bit of extra cash for the conversion. But it was tough going because it was cold and damp and a bit muddy and stuff like that.
And I was probably a bit emotional at certain times.
Yeah.
Mark getting frustrated on building stuff, and as I say, me sort of like gently weeping, holding a bit of timber as he was cutting it. And that's probably one reason why people say, why didn't you film the build? And although it was it was a fantastic distraction, it probably is something that I would sooner just remember in pictures rather than actually on camera.
Yeah, because no one wants to hear me swearing, throwing tools across the room and going, why don't I bloody know how to do this and stuff, and then crouching in a corner watching a YouTube video on how to do it and stuff like that. But we got it done. We set ourselves a target because we decided to have a celebrating life party to celebrate the fact that Rachel was finishing a treatment. So that was April 2017. So we had that line in the sand, and that was going to be Booby Doo's launch party as well. But we made it actually, didn't we?
Yeah, we got it certainly habitable.
Yeah,
We've tweaked since, but
well, they're never finished, are they? Really? So we had all of our sort of friends and family round and things like that, and we charged them all to come, and it was basically just a camping barn that we rented and charged them all to come along. And I think we raised about, was it 1,500 quid for...
There was 1,000 each for Force and for Breast Cancer Now.
So we raised a good couple, which is a fantastic way of doing it. So you just have a party and charge people to come. It was brilliant. So the timeline was, we bought the lorry August 2016, and we had it usable by April 2017, because after that party we actually went off for our first trip in her. We've counted up what she cost us, and we reckon it's about 16.5 grand, and that's including buying the lorry.
And the tools.
Yeah, and tools and everything like that sort of thing. So, so we haven't done too badly like that, really.
So then it's what's happened since. So think back, original plan, let's just build ourselves a holiday wagon and have fun and go off, and that's certainly what we were starting to do. We went off on little trips, mainly around the British Isles, in line with our works holidays and things like that. And should say that we worked all the way through the treatment and the building time, so we were just building at weekends. So fast forward to December 2018, and I started to get severe pain in my ribs, and managed to, it was over the Christmas period and we were away in Booby Doo, I managed to go and see my consultant, have scans and things last February 2019, February 2018. Had bone scans, CTs, and to find out I'd got a fractured rib. He told me the horrific news that it was the breast cancer back and it spread to my bones.
So it was secondary.
And then classed as secondary or metastatic breast cancer. Best case scenario, you're talking about 5 to 7 years, he told me. So horrific sort of day, really. And a couple of days, really, as you were trying to sort of get your head around it and then think, what the bloody hell are we doing job-wise, and just, you know, living for our little trips away. So I then went to go and see another consultant who was referred to, and he actually sort of said that he believed it was radiotherapy damage and not the breast cancer. And so they could give me bone strengthening jabs, and I would be treated like that with calcium and see what happens. And he said basically time and patience will tell the tale. So so that's where we are 1 year on. I've had 2 clear scans now, and it is just in that rib area. So we are inclined to agree that it is the radiotherapy damage. So in that time, we'd sort of probably fallen out of love with bricks and mortar, spent our time watching YouTube and van life people and then
tiny house living, things like that, yeah.
And just sort of thinking, how can we power back our lives to actually live a simpler life in this fantastic sort of vehicle that we love and adore, and at times think, God, did we actually really ever build this with no prior experience and, you know, heavily medicated, should I say, for myself. So then came to the decision that we were going to sell up the house.
Yeah, so the house is currently on the market. Unfortunately, we've already had one sale fall through, but that just happens. It is what it is. No point in getting stressed about it. So if anyone's looking for a lovely 3-bed Georgian cottage in mid-Devon, you know, sort of, I can put the link to the 3D tour and stuff in the description below. So essentially what we're going to do is sell the house, all of our belongings that don't fit in our 24 foot long Horsebox, and probably going to stay in our jobs for in the meantime, just to sort of save up some money, find a campsite to stay on and things like that, and just be long-term residents. And then after that, we're going to do sort of probably UK and Ireland first, and then who knows where after that, really. A lot of people are saying, why don't you rent your house out and stuff? But at the end of the day, it's a Georgian cottage with no parking outside. Old houses need a lot of maintenance, and we just can't be bothered with the sort of hassle of it, really. And plus, we need to sell the house to make sure we're debt free. So, I mean, we will be debt free for the first time in our lives, which will be an amazing feeling. And and other people are saying, oh, why are you stepping off the property ladder? Sort of bricks and mortar would be all and end all, but they're not. They really aren't. I've loved living in a house, but it's time to move on from there, really. So there's only so much you can, because the problem is, you stay in a house, you have to stay in a full-time job, and then there's only so much you can do with 25 days holiday a year, sort of thing. So and we've got bigger plans than that, and we think after Rachel's scares and health scares and things like that, there's got to be more to life than paying a mortgage, paying bills, and then you die. So that's going to be it, really.
But what makes me quite sad now is actually, why do we all have to wait for a big kick up the arse to actually make us do this? I feel very, very calm about the future, and I sort of think we're in the midst of coronavirus, and who knows what's going to happen in the next sort of few months, but we can get through it. Yeah. We can do it, and as I said, it's just see what happens, and live life in the moment. Yeah.
So so that's basically us in a nutshell. You'll probably sort of hear more about our story over the coming videos and stuff. Our next video is going to be a full truck tour, where we'll go round the whole lot and things like that. We haven't filmed that yet because it's been as wet as an otter's pocket at the moment, and it's just no one wants to see a video where it's peeing down with rain. I'm looking really grumpy, and we're parked on an industrial estate in a mid-Devon town. So that's going to be our next one. And then I was hoping to do a whole series of how we did what with the backup of pictures and stuff like that. So if that's something that interests you, please think about subscribing, and sort of press a little notification bell, and then YouTube will let you know on the probably the quite infrequent basis when we actually release a video, and come along for the ride. So I think we'll leave it there, really. Thanks for watching. Looks like Mabel's enjoying herself as well.